We continue chapter 13, and this time it's the central nervous system spinal cord. Technically, spinal cord is just a continuation of the brain. As soon as brain enters foramen magnum, right here would be medulla oblongata, and foramen magnum of the skull, and that's where the spinal cord starts. It ends at first lumbar vertebra, L1, right here. It's a little bit wrong in this picture. It's supposed to end first lumbar vertebra. It's a little bit longer right here. Okay, so L1. And its function is to connect our brain through the spinal nerves with our body, arms, and legs. The second function, it also has spinal reflex centers. We'll talk about spinal reflexes. How spinal cord is protected? First of all, let's look. That is a vertebra. That's vertebral body. That's your spinous process. And between there is vertebral foramina. And together, all vertebral foramina make a vertebral canal. Inside of that vertebral canal, here it is. That is a spinal cord. Spinal cord is well protected right here. First outer layer of protection is a bone. Then there is a fat. Fat is sitting in space called epidural space. If you remember epidural anesthesia, that's where they insert the needle when they do epidural anesthesia, right here. Then there are three layers, same meninges like you learned about the brain. Dura mater, the difference, dura mater has only one layer here. Arachnoid matter and pia matter. Between pia and arachnoid matter, there still will be subarachnoid space. Between dura matter and arachnoid matter, there still will be subdural space. Tiny space right here. And between dura mater and bone, there will be epidural space. Pay attention that epidural space with fat is absent. It doesn't exist in the brain. Only spinal cord right here and right here. There are also special tiny ligaments connecting spinal cord and keeping it in place to secure it, and those are called denticulate ligaments. How spinal cord ends? With a cord, connective tissue extension called filum terminale. It connects the spinal cord to the coccyx to keep it in place. Spinal cord gives rise to spinal nerves. 31 pairs of spinal nerves originate from the spinal cord on the left and right sides of it, and they go to the neck, to the arms, to the body, and to the legs. In the neck, spinal cord is slightly thicker. That is a cervical enlargement. The nerves for the arms originate from here and go to the arms. Another enlargement is in the lumbar area. That's enlargement where nerves going to the legs originate. The end of the spinal cord, it ends here, but there are still nerve roots, bundle of them going down, and that bundle is called coda equina. Coda equina literally means horse tail if we transfer it from Latin. Now we are taking spinal cord only, taking it without any matters and coverings. So the spinal cord itself is divided in two halves, and on their ventral side it will be a median fissure or anterior median fissure. So when you name that, when you label it, you should say either ventral median fissure or anterior medial fissure. The one is posterior median fissure or dorsal. Sulcus. Dorsal median sulcus. So dorsal, it's a back of the body, and that is front of the body, ventral. The connection between those two parts goes right here. That is a gray matter of the spinal cord. Here it's yellow for some reason, but it's gray. And the connection goes through the center. That connection is called gray commissure. In the very center of gray commissure, there is a central canal, a small canal that contains cerebrospinal fluid. Now, gray matter is made of horns. Those are dorsal horns. Here we have ventral horns and lateral horns. What you know about them? Dorsal horns connect contains somatic neurons. So information comes right here from somatic and visceral inputs, and information goes to the spinal cord from here. In ventral horns, there are motor neurons. So motor neurons information originates from here and goes from the spinal cord to activate muscles and glands. Finally, right here there are lateral horns, and in the lateral horns there are sympathetic neurons. Sympathetic neurons are part of the autonomic nervous system. It's another chapter. Dorsal root ganglia, I will show them in the other picture. So that's again your spinal cord, ventral root, lateral root, dorsal root. Dorsal root comes out of the spinal cord, and here it has a bulb, and inside there are bodies of the sensory neurons. That is your dorsal root ganglion. And dorsal and ventral root merge together and form spinal nerve. Okay, now white matter of the spinal cord. White matter is everything else outside of the gray matter. So that is a gray matter. Outside, everything is a white matter. White matter is made of white columns. That is a dorsal or posterior white column. Right here it would be lateral column, and here ventral columns. And if we cross through the white matter, you will see those tracts. Those are actually bundles of neurons going up and down through the spinal cord. So most of them are ascending, going up to the brain, or they are called sensory. They carry sensory information from the organs to the brain through the spinal cord. And there are also descending or motor tracts. They carry information to activate muscles, to make them contract.